Pierce, welcome to FrightFest. Welcome
Thank you.
to London.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
How's it been so far?
Amazing. It's been great. We went out last night and everyone was super friendly and it's awesome.
And everybody, when I've been going up to people, was like, instead of calling you Pierce, I'm like, Crabs!
Crabs guy, yeah. Right.
So the big premiere, the big world premiere is
Yeah.
this evening on that massive IMAX screen. You looking forward to it?
I am. It doesn't feel real. It's been about 6 years. We shot the movie in 2015 and then the B-roll in the B unit in 2016 and then the drone footage in 2017. So we've been working on it for a long time.
So I'm assuming, obviously with lockdown and stuff, this is the first time you'll have seen it projected up on a ginormous screen.
Yeah, I've been watching it on my MacBook Pro, and then we did one little screening for the sound mix, and that was it. So it's going to be wild watching it on IMAX.
So the incredibly lucky folks that are going to see the premiere of it this evening, for the folks at home and the people watching this in the future, what can people expect from I usually ask, so what's the plot? And explain your film and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think basically the title sums it up.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Crabs exclamation mark as well, the very important exclamation mark. But non-spoilery, what can people expect either tonight or in the future from Crabs?
So Crabs is the story of a genius kid in a wheelchair that wants to dance with his girlfriend at prom and giant crabs attack. And so over the course of about 3 days, these mutant crabs attack this small little town. And without getting into spoilers, that's about all I can say.
They're very good.
Yeah.
And I think the film wears its influences on its sleeve. What are your favourite big monster films or little monster films from the past?
Eight-Legged Freaks is probably my favorite. I think that movie needs to be recognized a lot more. And I mean, Gremlins is obviously a big influence. We have a couple Gremlins homages in the film. And the original Godzilla films as well. There's a lot of Godzilla references in Crabs.
So take us through your career pre-Crabs. What were you up to? What have you done before?
Yeah, this is the first film I've ever directed, first film I ever wrote. I produced a couple projects beforehand. There were 2 films that I worked on that just basically interning on one and worked my way up to producer and then got hired immediately onto the next one. And then the producers of those films were like, hey, we know you want to direct. Do you have a script? And I said, yeah, I've got this crazy project that I never thought I'd ever get made. And they're like, all right, let's do it. And so now we've got Crabs.
Well, let's hope not.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I guess.
Not now.
So tell us about the making of it. Give us some little fun moments and stuff like that.
It was crazy. I had no idea what I was doing from the very beginning. Showed up on set the first day, and there were 50 people there, and all I'd ever worked on were little shorts that I shot for college just for fun, where I have the boom pole strapped to my back and I've got the camera and I'm directing, and this was like a first real movie. But the most amazing part of the whole process was walking into the prom scene, because I had this, I wrote it and I had it in my head and I thought about what it would look like and how it would be. But the cinematographer and our set decorator and our Angel Herrera, anyway, he is brilliant and designed the entire set for our prom, and it felt like walking into something that I made up in my brain, but better. And that was spectacular. But my favorite part of directing anything on the film was like the actors, when they at the beginning of the project, we were sticking to the script, and then about 4 days in, I realized that doing that was actually harming the project, and so I let the actors go freeform. And I'm like, if you have a better line than what's in the script, you know the character, so let's do that. And the best lines in the movie were improvised, and just being able to let the camera go and watch the actors work. It's like they took what I was hoping the characters would be and then made them their own in a way that was way better than anything I could have ever actually put on paper.
Fantastic.
So.
And lots of effects in the film. Was it very strictly storyboarded? Did you have a very distinct vision as to how you wanted to portray the crabs? Yeah,
well, that was another crazy serendipitous thing. So the producers of the film, I came to them with the project and the script, and they said, there's no way we're going to be able to storyboard this thing. Like, we don't have the budget, we don't have the time. And then the next day, after I had that conversation, I walked into a coffee shop in New York City and saw 2 guys with tablets out storyboarding, and I'm like, hey, I'm starting a movie, here's the script. And both of them signed on that day with our budget, and they storyboarded the whole movie for us.
Amazing.
And they're fantastic. And so the whole all of the crab scenes were storyboarded, and the final, I'm not going to give anything away, but the final scene, the big climactic scene, we storyboarded the whole thing and choreographed the whole thing in storyboards, and then we stuck almost exactly to that. So there's a version of the film that I'd like to put on like the Blu-ray or something like that has all the storyboards in the corner, so you could see how it came to be. But yeah.
And effects-wise, was it a combo of CG and practical, or?
Yeah, originally we wanted to do it all practical. The hope was to do the whole film practical, but some of the time that just didn't work. So when there's CG, what we did was we took orthographic photos, so 360-degree photos of the actual monsters, and then put them into a computer to generate as close as possible to the actual practical effects as we could. But I'd say it's 90% practical and 10% CGI. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, this is the FrightFest are lucky to be the first audience in the world to see it. What is happening with distribution? Have you heard anything yet or not?
So Raven Banner is going to be doing our Canadian distribution and our world sales. I have not heard anything about distribution yet, but this is the first time that anybody's seen it. So.
Great.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do next? What's your next project or projects?
I have a couple that I would like to make. One of them is a much larger project about the life of Fritz Duquette. But then there's another one that
sorry, Fritz?
Fritz Duquette. He's one of the most, he's a spy. He's a historical spy.
Nice. Very, very different.
Totally different.
Oh my God.
Completely different. And then I have a movie that I'm working on now that is like The Raid if it took place in medieval times.
Oh my goodness.
That's the one I'm really trying to work on now.
Amazing.
Yep.
So has that got a title? Has that got a working title?
No title at the moment. But I'm going to try to get that off the ground as soon as I possibly can.
And what about crabs too, or maybe some other crustacean? What about lobsters or something? What else?
Totally. If people like crabs, I have a bunch of ideas for crabs too. I have some strange, very obscure places I'd like to take the second one and go. Crabs goes really over the top by the end of it, and I'd like to try to up that in the ridiculous scale for Crabs 2, if there is a Crabs 2. But I think I'll wait to find out if people want a Crabs 2 or not.
Fantastic. Thank you, Pierce. And if you want to say something direct to camera about London or about FrightFest or about crabs, take it away. Whatever you want to say.
Which camera? Yeah, thank you, FrightFest. This has been incredible. Being here is it doesn't feel real. We've been working on this project for about 6 years now, and getting to actually share it with people and be here is an absolute honor. And to everybody that has been part of the film, has worked on the film, has done anything at all to help me or the project over the last 6 years, an enormous thank you. And I couldn't be more grateful to be here right now. So thank you.